Hi there. So you're coming from another country and you're coming into Uganda, our very own motherland. Beautiful place, by the way. And you're a health person, you're a health cautious person, you mind about your health and your wellness. So that means you want to find if there's possibilities of you actually cooking your own food while you are in this country, Uganda. Well, good news for you. And in this video, I'm going to be telling you what to expect when cooking in Uganda. My name is Amanda. Let's get into the video, shall we? So, when you come into Uganda, you can expect blackouts. Yes, electricity blackouts. So if you are the type that is using electricity to cook, then you might be cooking someday and right in the middle or just before you get done with your cooking, then power just, cuts and you'll have nothing else to use to cook. That means you need to prepare wisely for that, and there's no one that you'll be going to report to, say, the authorities and saying, oh my god, I don't have power. It's a normal thing here. That means you need to prepare for it, prepare for those blackouts when you come into Uganda. That takes me to point number 2, which is the most common cooking fuels that we use in Uganda. We actually do not use electricity much for our cooking. We use it for light, we use it for ironing, but when it comes to cooking, we use charcoal, we use firewood a lot, and we also use a lot of gas, especially in the urban areas or city centers. So if you've been used to using electricity where you are, you should know that you need to have any one of those 3 other emergency forms of charcoal. We also use solar, by the way. Some people use solar to cook. So you might want to get one of those 4 options as an emergency cooking fuel that you can use while you are cooking down here in Uganda. So of course, when we're talking about cooking, we're going to be looking at cooking ingredients as well. What are the types of cooking ingredients that are mainly found in Uganda? In Uganda, you'll find mostly fresh ingredients. So if you're the type that's used to canned foods and tinned foods and pickled foods, you might not find a lot of those unless you're going to go to health stores or specialty stores or big chain supermarkets. Otherwise, around us, around so many of the shops and the stalls, you're going to find mostly fresh foods. And that should be good news for you, because that is definitely more healthy than any other form of food. Now, let's talk about the accessibility or availability of these food ingredients we're talking about. Well, while you're cooking in Uganda and say you run out of a fresh ingredient or any ingredient that is for your cooking, you will be pleased to know that you will actually be able to get a replacement or a refill of whatever got done while you were cooking. Say your tomatoes got finished and you forgot to restock and you are already halfway into your cooking. Trust me, you'll be able to walk out of your gate most likely and find tomatoes right at a local woman will be selling her tomatoes on her local food stall, and so that makes it easy for you. That means in Uganda, if you're looking for fresh ingredients, you'll definitely be able to get them as quickly as possible once you run out of ingredients. It's not like maybe most other places where you have to have pre-planned your shopping and go to supermarkets and get everything you need, otherwise you'll not have stock. Right here, you can actually get some of these very regular food items, say onions, tomatoes, mostly fresh foods. You'll be able to grab them as easily as possible because we have so many stalls all around us that serve these things. So when you are transacting in Uganda and buying these food items or selling these food items, what is the most common form of transaction in terms of the money that we use? So if you're used to visas and credit cards and all these other forms of transacting your business, most places in Uganda you'll find that we don't use that a lot. We actually use cash transactions as the main form of transactions in Uganda. So you might want to have some quick cash on you or some change in your pocket, because when you're going to the local food stall and you're asking the local woman there to give you some onions, she's not going to understand your Visa card, your credit card, or even your bank book and your dollars. She'll just look at the dollars and wonder, now where does he expect me to change these? I don't even know that there exists a forex bureau. So in my opinion, my advice is please have some change have some Ugandan currency while you decide to cook in Uganda, because that's the main form of transaction that we shall be using in Uganda. So for the different kinds of foods cooked, you might be wondering what exactly is in Uganda. Like we said, there's a lot of fresh produce, and that is great for our health. But also we have different seasons for different foods, so what is cooked in that particular time might be affected or determined by what foods are actually in season. So for example, we actually eat grasshoppers in Uganda, and this is the month and season for grasshoppers being harvested. So you're going to find a lot more of grasshoppers here than any other snacks around. There are also seasons where you'll have more mangoes instead of pineapple, you have more guavas, say, instead of oranges, and so your cooking also will be alternating or cycling around what is actually available in season in the country. Otherwise you will not be able to get, you might not be able to get what you particularly want, but you can play around with what is available and still have very delicious meals, home prepared, home cooked, right here in Uganda. So Uganda is not a very big country, and yet the population is growing really rapidly, so that means space is also not a luxury that we have in Uganda. And so even for housing, you're going to find that so many people stay very close to each other. So there's lots of apartments, there's lots of okay, yes, there are bungalows, but there's not much space between the bungalows. That means you can kind of tell what's happening in the next house if you look and listen closely, and likewise from the other house to yours. So even when you're cooking, especially if you're in a place where apartments or houses or units are actually have shared walls, then your neighbor might actually be able to smell the aroma of your food and guess what you were cooking, and likewise you might be able to do the same for them. So that is it in Uganda, because we have fresh ingredients, fresh food. You're able to smell every bit of it quite easily, and because of the space that we've talked about, you might smell what your neighbor is cooking, so beware of that. They might be cooking something that you don't like or something that nauseates you, and you might have to just run for your life and find a safe haven at maybe a friend's place or something. So yeah, that's what you can expect in Uganda as you cook as well, or as other people are cooking around you. Now, here's another very interesting one. When you are going to host people, or you decide to host visitors and people in your home, and say you have been cooking and you took a little more time than anticipated to finish cooking your meals, in Uganda it is very normal that when visitors come, the visitors you're expecting come into your home and find you're still cooking your food, they are going to actually, not even ask for permission or anything. They'll just get into the kitchen and start helping you finish the meal. So it's culture. It's culture that, if people still have work to do, then just go and join them. Even if I'm a visitor, I just go and join them and get work done faster. And that's part of what makes it a merry occasion, or that's part of what really binds us and keeps us unified as Ugandans, because we have the spirit of, it's not just sharing food, but even the process that brings the food to the table, we actually do share a lot of that. So it's very normal if you find that the visitors come and they just join you in the kitchen. Please don't be offended. Actually, hand them a knife, hand them onions, hand them whatever it is that is still waiting to be done, and let them just be, because that's culture around these streets. So you might find this inconveniencing or uncomfortable, but you have to get used to it at some point, because in Uganda, like I said, we have this whole sharing culture, and the people are sort of more like one, that your neighbors might come and borrow some food equipment or cooking equipment from you, or even items and appliances. Don't be offended, as long as they do it respectfully, because that happens a lot right here. You might find you need to lend someone a kettle, to get their water boiled. You might find someone is asking for your broom to clean up their kitchens. You might find someone is coming and they're asking if you have, some silverware that they can use to serve their guests. They are not your guests, they're actually their guests, but they're asking you for your silverware to help out. So that's life in Uganda. Don't be offended, don't be so shocked, because right here I've told you what you can expect. And yeah, that's about it. Those are some of the things that you can expect as you decide to cook in Uganda. It's a very beautiful place, a very peaceful place, and one special thing about it is the people are more unified, so there's a lot more of doing things together. That might be odd in the first place for someone that hasn't been used to this kind of lifestyle, but as you get along, you'll find that it's actually a beautiful thing. And yeah, it keeps life moving, makes things easier as well. So that's what you can expect as you decide to cook your food in Uganda. Please don't fear to do so, to come and take the option of cooking your own foods. It's very easy, it's going to be very exciting to go through. So yeah, get down to preparing yourself and coming down to this land where cooking is actually fun, because the meals that we actually make out of this food, ingredients we have, are very flavorful and delicious. So I hope that has helped for someone that was just wondering what cooking in Uganda would be like, and if that's a possible option for them. Well, you've been hanging out with Amanda right here on this channel. If you are a person that is all about the wellness, that relates with healthy living, that relates with just living a more nourished and flourishing life just by taking care of the inside of you coming to the outside, then this channel is for you, because we're all about health and wellness. If you want to join the family, it's very simple. Just subscribe by clicking that button down there, and you can also click on the notification bell, so every time I upload something, you're actually able to get to see it first, maybe. And yeah, if you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. If you have something you want to ask some more about cooking in Uganda, please do write that down in the comment section. I have also put so many of my social homes and pages down in the description of this video, so you can still contact me via all those platforms. Otherwise, until tomorrow in my next video, I will see you soon. Bye bye.